Hi. I decided to restore the history of my third project, which I forgot about, either because I find it in the Enigmaverse fandom, but it doesn't matter. I would like to rewrite the story about the Button District, and here is the history of this universe. Speech balloon. It will talk about the fact that in this quiet and calm area live people, but of a different race. They call themselves Button People, and they differ from people a little. They have buttons instead of eyes, and they always have white skin. And their blood is black and grey, and they have other traditions and the meaning of life. It is not fully known what is there and how they live in a quiet and small area. There are many mostly Button people living there, and there are few people in this area, and among them there is a white demon, a good demon. It is not known who he is. But this area is the kindest and calmest. His name is Mr. Atom. But if not for one but, there is a place called Dark Alley and Forbidden Dark Forest. In this place no one does not go to a dark place, never. But in this place it happens in 2026, but the Button People live according to the old traditions, or how they dress in grey tones sometimes, but bright colors rarely wear anyone. And there is such a rule for the birth of a baby from the Button People race, if he has one button eye from birth, and the other human. This will be considered a mistake of the mixed race of people and Button People, and therefore so that people are equal, and so that the Button People are equal, then cuts off one button and hides them with a bandage, so that the birth of a child seems to be correct. Such a harsh rule at this time goes on for many years. Button District. There are errors in the story hole, somewhere on the edge of the big world, hidden from the eyes of curious people. There is the Button District, a quiet, calm, and almost forgotten place. Its narrow streets seem to be sewn from old threads. The houses stand close to each other, as if hiding their inhabitants. Not just people live here, but Button People, an ancient and mysterious race. They are very similar to us, but only at first glance. They have white skin, like marble, and instead of eyes, buttons, sewn with neat stitches. Their blood is not scarlet, but dark grey, almost black, and flows slowly, like ink on paper. They live according to ancient traditions that no one fully understands. Their clothes are mainly in grey and muted tones, because bright colors are considered something unusual, almost forbidden. Birth and the rule of equality when a child is born in the Button District. They immediately look into the eyes. If the baby has one button eye and one human eye, this is considered a mistake of nature, a mixing of blood. Then one button is cut off, and the real eye is hidden under a bandage. This is an ancient right to maintain balance and the correctness of the world. Dark Alley and Forbidden Forest. But even in such a peaceful corner there are shadows. There are places where no one goes. Dark Alley is a narrow street where the light seems to die. Forbidden Forest is a gloomy thicket that hides its ancient, black magic. No one knows what is hidden there, but everyone feels that it is better not to look there. The year is 2026. But time is different here. Folded hands Latin cross. Although outside the walls of Button District it is 2026, everything here seems frozen. The Button People live as before, in the rhythm of whispers, silence, traditions and stitches. Time has no power over them. Red exclamation mark. But there is one. But, red exclamation mark in this quiet area. Dark Alley. Behind these shadows, evil spirits, demons, ghosts. Dead people are hidden there and there is a lot of evil there. Only at night they are active and do not give people peace. But there is one little known company, Demon Cleansing, which work against evil, cleanse evil spirits from people. And there are some workers who work there. There are such famous personalities as Zazaki, Andy, Riley, and Arkady Tilikolio. But also their boss Melissa, so they work the night shift often. 3 thumbs up, this is the story I made. In fact, the ChatGPT bot helped me, as I had little imagination and details about this universe. That's how it is. And thank you for reading this. I will be glad if someone likes it, and finally I will make some kind of series about them. Because they are in development for a long time and there are old sketches, and I am ashamed that I forgot about them. Sad face. She is a dead living woman, the owner of the demon cleansing company, and she created it in 2020 to fight evil. But despite this, she died 10 years ago. She was sold by a car, but she was resurrected. But she does not take She is a dead living woman, the owner of the demon cleansing company, and she created it in 2020 to fight evil. But despite this, she died 10 years ago. She was sold by a car, but she was resurrected. But she does not take revenge on anyone. She is still kind, a little scary, but also a good boss in the demon cleansing organization. And she has a younger brother, Heiko, a mother and father. And she gives a good salary to Sasaki, Riley, Andy, and Arkady Tiakolio. And she has prosthetic arms and legs, and a prosthetic chest, and iron wings, and her right eye is blind. And her left eye is normal. Andy Vampirism, the most handsome and dark guy in the whole country. He is a popular idol in Korea and Japan and all over the country, with his great voice and his appearance. But no one knows that he is a real dark vampire. The Dark Secret Prince. He has many fans, and sometimes hangs out with them, especially with girls. His job? He works in the company, demon cleansing, and even good, he as a vampire has the ability. He can turn into a bat, but you can understand him only by his bangs blue and recognize Andy. But he cannot talk in the body of a bat, and his eyes are red glow at night, and he has very sharp vampire fangs, and he has claws on his nails when he has the form of a vampire half human. His wings are very good in flight, and his ears have good hearing, but he is cute when in the form of a bat and squeaks like a squeaker. Who is he friends with? He is friends with Sasaki, Arkady Tiakolio, and he has a Ulster Riley. He is like an Ukta brother, sometimes teases his sister and is a slacker on weekends, and Andy also has minuses. He is afraid of sunlight, silver, fire and holy relics, such as a cross or holy water, as a vampire. And he will have to hide part of his body with clothes or smear his face and neck with sunscreen. And wear a take cross and iron earrings. He is unstable, crazy, weird, and addicted to self-inflicted pain. This is due to his past trauma. He was born very small, but he was found near the fence very small, newborn, without parents. And he lived in an orphanage. But he was not an obedient child. He teased other children a lot, did not listen to adults, and because of this he was punished. They were with a lazy hand, or even a back, and very often continued, until he definitely did not begin to want pain himself, and at school he behaved unstable, rarely went to school. And he got one scratch on his right eye from a strict teacher in high school, and he was monitored by doctors, but Sasaki began to harm his health, be himself in the face, cut his hands because of a small mistake, or wrong actions. After school he met Melissa, the owner of the company, Demon Sedums. Sasaki liked killing evil demons so much that he often walks with knives in his pocket, and even at the university he rarely goes to drink, but despite this, he became friends with Riley and Andy. And after 3 years he is already friends with them. Despite this, Sasaki is kind, a joker and more than eats to take sedative pills to be stable, and his real name is Roman. But he does not like it and called himself Sasaki. She is positive, charismatic, and the sweetest, but when she raps, she goes wild and speaks demonically greater than. 3. Who is she? She is anti-vampirism's younger sister, and she treats her brother neutrally. Sometimes things are good and sometimes they are bad, they rarely quarrel, and they both speak English and Korean, and Riley is also a light vampire. She is not afraid of the sun, silver, and crosses and holy water, but she has the form of a small white bat, and is half a vampire, and she also takes a chainsaw with her. She works at the demon cleansing company and she just insanely kills demons with a chainsaw. But she also cooks and sings well. She participates in a concert with Andy's brother. And she has the greatest friendship with Sasaki. They are best friends. And Riley looks like her dad, and Andy looks like her mom. He is kind, charismatic, energetic, fast, and he speaks quickly, and this happens often, but he is a little crazy, and sometimes he cannot calm down when he has a lot of energy, and he is wild. Like he was born in Australia, but speaks Ukrainian, but also Australian accents his job. He works as a hunter for large animals that attack people, and he works for the least known company, Demon Cleansing. He works there often and kills demons with his sharp claws, and very sharp teeth and fangs. His eyes become crazier and crazier as he kills demons longer and longer. Sometimes he will have to give sedatives. And he has a lot in common with Sasaki, and with Andy and his sister Riley. With other people older than him he tries to have respect for them. And by the way, Sasaki and Arkady both smile often. Miss Theodosia is an old cyborg doll. She's a skilled doctor, surgeon, and urologist. She also works as an assistant in investigating crimes for the Demon Cleansing Company. She's a detective working undercover for the organization, but she's 59 years old, and technically, working for the organization isn't required at that age. However, as a cyborg, she was able to work for the Demon Cleansing Company. But she is a philosophical woman, a little wise, and slightly relaxed, always high. She speaks many languages. It is not clear how she lived her 59 years in such a world, but she lives on her own, and does not want to remember about her master, how her master died of cancer. And she was left with a broken heart, and on her face there are 3 tresons from the fact that Theodosia sometimes encountered demons, but she is still whole. She also collaborates with Miss Melissa, with Professor Zaka. But Zaka is like a son to him less than 3, and sometimes looks after Avina, as she is aware of his problem: strength. She is quite strong. She can withstand 20 knife blows, and can withstand a large explosion of fire. She can move slowly, but still catch up with you. She has long arms that just reach her leg. It can stretch and reach you very far and take you in her grip and pull you to her. Hugs. She does this if you are in danger. Or she just hugs her acquaintances like this, especially with Avina and Zakara, and her legs are very strong, and she wears boots and gloves so as not to expose anyone to her touch. And she is perhaps 500 centimeters tall. She is tall, but neat. She wears most of her dress white. It makes her feel more comfortable. Her bangs cover her eyes. She doesn't show her hair completely, but she can take off her wig. She used to have long hair, but she cut it herself so it wouldn't get in her way. Her arms have springs and small iron gears inside them to lengthen her arms. And her legs have a very heavy iron gear inside them, so her legs are strong and heavy, making it hard to even carry her. And why is she 59 years old if she's a cyborg? Because she's lived in this quiet neighborhood for 59 years. She was probably created in 1969. Welcome everyone. Ladies and gentlemen. This university is especially suited for students like you. For people with disabilities and mental health problems, this is not just a university. It was specially created so that your adult children could study better and go to work, and we have many doctors and psychiatrists, and good leaders of different subjects. You can call me Mrs. Abigail. I am the director of this university. I am well over 70 years old. So I created this university together with my old friend Sebastian 50 years ago. This university is already 50 years old. So do not complain about cracks and boarding up the windows. We had a big fire in this area in the middle of the night in the summer of 2020, 6 years ago, and all the people were injured. Some managed to survive, and others ended up in the hospital, or even died. But we do not know who started the fire, and who is behind it. Fortunately we have a company, Demon Cleansing. I talked to Miss Melissa, and we have been cooperating for at least 10 years. And by the way, at this university, old school of education, and the 4-leaf clover sign, it means good luck. So that the university isn't so scary, and students finish 5 years of study and should already find jobs. Thank you for your attention. And the last thing I want to say. Don't break the rules at this university. They're strict at first, but you'll get used to them. And don't walk through closed doors without asking. This entry was written by Mrs. Abigail. Kind, determined, a bit of a perfectionist, possibly. And he's friendly and ready to help you in difficult times. He'll support you and give you good advice, but there's a problem. He never shows his anger directly. It seems like he knows how to keep his emotions under control, and that he's always positive and able to solve problems. But he's seething with anger inside. And he doesn't break down in front of everyone. He only breaks down when he's home alone, especially from strong emotions, especially anger. He was depressed for the 3rd time. But he didn't tell anyone about it. Not even his best friends, Kyle and Lisa. He lived 4 years later in deafness, just like he did 6 years ago in a fire, where he suffered a major ear injury and became deaf. He wears a hearing aid 2 years later. He becomes sad when it's quiet and you can't hear a single sound. This is how he felt when he became deaf at age 14, alter a fire in a quiet neighborhood. Race: he's the only button person who wasn't born with a button instead of an eye. We know is his friends Kale and Lisa, Heiko's closest friends, Vovalin and Nyaka, just acquaintances, and Heiko, by the way, is a villager, and Vovalin is rich, and therefore, as companions. Vovalin helps Heiko with money problems and debts, smiley face. And Nyaka sometimes just treats Heiko to delicious food if he is too tired. 3. His friends, Kale and Lisa. By the way, Kale and Lisa are twin brother and sister. Heiko's best friends, they've been friends since childhood. When Heiku was 5 years old, Lisa was 4 years old. And Kale was 6 years old. Haku is now 20 years old, Lisa is 19, and Cole is 21 years old. Vovalin and Nyaka, just an introduction, no need to say anything. 3. What he likes: Halko likes soft and gentle things. By the way, he has a Celt, Long Loaf. He played with him as a child and sleeps with him at night, and he likes to communicate with friends. The respects his mother and sister. Halko visits his sister Melissa, visits her at work, loves to eat healthy food, without chemicals. And he loves cats more than anything in the world. By the way, he has a cat named Archie, Ginger and Fat, 3, and with such a cute face, a silly smile, and closed eyes. He is heavy but also very kind and wants attention. What he doesn't like. Noisy neighbors. By the way, he lives in a village in Ukraine. This happens in the world of Button District. And he doesn't like conflicts or themes about wars, how his father was a strict soldier. And Haku also never it when his character is criticized harshly, that he supposedly has a soft and naive character, and his father even bowled him, "You're a man. Men never cry," or, "You have to decide this yourself, stop being so naive, it's not manly pride." And Heiko remembers this, and strives to be brave and decisive and courageous, but he has a phobia. Ophidiophobia, also a fire phobia or snake phobia, is an irrational, an extreme fear of snakes. This is a special case of herpetophobia, which is the fear of reptiles, snakes, and lizards, and one of the most common types of phobias. He developed this as a child. He was frightened by this snake, one of his bullies, Andri. Halko was terrified when the snake crawled toward him, slithered over him, and hissed. He even cried in fear, and he still fears snakes. If you're his friend, you should understand his fear of snakes. Kale and Lisa are twin siblings, the only two in a quiet neighborhood. Kale is a quiet and reserved guy, but he's Heiko's best friend, and he's a good student at the Old Education University. Lisa is the happiest girl, loves dancing and listening to music from the 2020s. She always carries headphones and a phone with her, and she's a student at the Old Education University. She's also Heiko's best friend. Kale and Lisa, along with Heiko, have been very close friends since childhood. Vova is a cultured gentleman and the rich son of his family. His parents own businesses, and Vova helps them with this. He is also a friend of Heiko. Vova is very polite to girls and respects his elders, especially the oldest people and people of other races. He seems to have feelings for Nyack. He helps carry boxes of goods in the cafeteria, speaks to her sweetly and beautifully, and even gives her small gifts. Nyaka is a cashier at the Old Education University cafeteria. She is a cook and a saleswoman, selling delicious food and drinks. But she does not sell alcohol. It is prohibited at the university. She respects Mrs. Abigail and *************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************̈ tails and ears. She just can't fight. But she can use her tail as a dangerous weapon. She has sharp teeth like a mouth, as if her tail were a mouth and not just a tail, but if you don't anger her. What Nyaka likes, she loves meat, as she's a predator. Her father is a fox, and her mother is a button human. Her father is an alpha fox, so is Nyaka, despite her short stature and kind nature. She also loves cats. She can speak Japanese, and so does Heiko, and they sometimes communicate in Japanese, as Nyaka's father is a Japanese alpha fox, and her mother is Ukrainian. She also sometimes listens to music with Lisa. What Nyaka dislikes. She doesn't like noisy neighbors at night, doesn't like having her tail and ears touched, doesn't like not being paid if she's worked too long. And she doesn't like Andri and Daria. Daria is Andri's girlfriend. Nyaka dislikes robbers, murderers, and monsters. She's afraid of monsters that are stronger than her. Other people who don't understand Japanese won't understand what Nyaka and Heiko are talking about. Andri is a student at the University of Old Learning. By the way, Andri and Daria are classmates of Heiko, but they study in parallel classes. Andri isn't the most pleasant person. He causes discomfort in others in society. He is known to everyone because Andri mistreated animals, and because Andri used a prohibited substance. He was arrested on charges of animal cruelty and using prohibited substances. Because of this, he will have to spend a lot of time in classes at the university, being lectured about the rules and laws of society. But Andrei doesn't care about any of this. How his parents are strict and work for a small company. And also, Andrei has a victim. Alex. He's been bullying Alex since kindergarten, and Alex has become Andrei's plaything. Daria, she's Andrei's girlfriend, but she's a real bitch. She's foul-mouthed and so bad. And she's secretly cheating on Andrei, but he hasn't even noticed. And also, Andrei and Daria irritate Heiko and try to get on his nerves until he breaks down. He is an ordinary person. Mental issues, mental paranoia, attacks of paranoia, and childhood trauma due to bullying in kindergarten, school, and university. He speaks of being afraid. Personality. Alex is a quiet student at the University of Old Education, and studies in parallel pairs with Andrei and Daria. He is classmates with Heiko, Lisa, Kale, Vovolin and Nayaka, by the way. Studies in a parallel class with Alex only after work. She is 24. She still studies 1 year at the university and will finish and will still work. Alex is known for his shyness, modesty, and is silent in the corner of the classroom at the last desk, and he has no friends at all, and he is afraid of the button people, and all this is because of Andrei and Daria. Alex is afraid of Andrei because of his cruelty, and Alex used to be in love with Daria in childhood, but she rejected him, and Alex is now a hermit, and by the way, he does not trust Heiko, Lisa, Kale, and Vovolin and Nyack.ov. Alex doesn't trust the button people, never. He sees them as a threat. Alex always carries holy water, a Bible, and a cross with him. And I'll now explain his relationship with the 5 button people we're introducing. Heiko. Alex is distrustful of Heiko and sees him as suspicious. But he certainly knows that Heiko is kind and doesn't hurt anyone. But behind his smile, Alex is trying to find out what Heiko wants and whether there's something wrong with him. Maybe Heiko is pretending to be kind and getting too much attention. Kale. Alex is afraid of Kale's icy gaze. When he looks into Kale's eyes, his skin shivers. Those empty eyes always frightened him as a child. Lisa. Alex perceives Lisa as a somewhat optimistic person, and he's seen her argue with Andrei and Daria more than once. But he's never spoken to her. Vovolin. For him, Alex. Vovolin seems to harbor a certain arrogance and hypocrisy, but he doesn't fully understand Vovolin. Nayaka. Alex fears Nayaka because she's a predator, and predators hunt their prey. Alex even saw Nayaka when she was very angry, hunting someone in fox form, and saw her hands and mouth covered in blood, and her teeth gaping open, her mouths 3 fox-like on each of her tails. Alex treats her with caution. He is brave, courageous, and a coach at Old Education University. He is even kind. He treats his students well, even with low-class students. He is quite a sociable and cool coach at this university. Even girls adore him. Even though he is 45 years old, he is not married. He is, of course, a jokester. He will help you in sports, support you, advise you, and let you take a break from training. If you feel unwell, just go to the nurse. Mr. Artem is not strict, but there are also problems. He's very strong, but he can forget that he's strong. For example, when he hugs someone, he can accidentally hug too hard or break a spine. So remind him to control his strength. He also has trouble controlling his anger sometimes, and can throw a car at someone with such force that you'll die on the first hit. Despite this, he has friends, Zaka, Avon, and Matvey, and he helps people build a house, and Mrs. Abigail approves of this. He's serious, doesn't use much foul language, and isn't at all afraid of the threat of small children. He's a biology and chemistry teacher at the Old Educational Training University. But there is such a problem. As a plant person, he does not like extreme heat or cold. He likes average temperatures, and he has a habit of smoking cigarettes. Only he makes his cigarettes from leaves and adds charcoal to them and wheezes a white powder substance that gives him a high if he smokes 20 packs of cigarettes. And he is also friends with Mr. Avina. Although Zaka himself said that they are just colleagues at work in science, he has a neutral relationship with Mr. Artem, and Mr. Matvey treats Mrs. Abigail with respect, but relationships with girls are more difficult for him because of his genius, and he really hates Andrei and Daria. Kicks them out of class if they do something bad in his office. His mouth has been corrupted for a very long time, has no teeth, can have 1 to 4 long tongues, can close his mouth completely, as if he does not have a mouth, and open it into an open mouth big. It was corrupted when he conducted an experiment on himself to immunity to poison. He did this when he checked food from the cafeteria at the university, as it was like, listen. When students were poisoned because of food, and then one day, in the laboratory of Professor Zaka, there was a mini incident. Someone put something chemical in the poison and caused a large explosion that got into the skin and mouth of Zaka, and it was a mixture of acid and resin. And he could not speak for a long time and was in the hospital, and Miss Cyborg Feodosia looked after him, and Mr. Avon visited Zaka, and Mr. Artem and Mr. Matvey, and Mrs. Abigail. A month later he felt better, and returned to work. But now he hides his mouth with a medical mask. It looks scary if students will see him without a mask. Personality. He's a physics teacher at the Old Educational Training University, and he also looks after children at the Children's Orphanage Hospital. He has a normal relationship with children. But Avon is shy and untidy, but more intelligent. He's often silent and has problems. His black part is slippery and sticks to walls, people, and objects. He doesn't want to be in large crowds or in public, but he communicates with Zaka. He's Zaka's colleague and assistant in chemistry lessons and experiments. Zaka knows about Avon's problems and supports him, and Avon sometimes talks to Miss Feodosia about his problem. And one more thing. Avon has a younger brother. Avon is a caring creature less than 3. He will worry about you if something happens, and will even protect you from a threat. He will make himself guilty. This is not the first time he has put himself at risk. Less than sad face. White coat, boots and gloves, and his body is completely covered with clothes. Asterisk 1 fact. He can remove his black hair like a wig so it doesn't get in his way during class or when he's in the company of many people. 2 fact. He can become invisible, especially half of his body, or completely invisible. His head often becomes invisible due to modesty, shame, anxiety, fear, and when he blushes deeply. 3. Fact: he resembles his mother. As his mother is a dark slime, and his father is a normal person. 4. Fact: his native language is speaking words backwards, as is the native language of his dark slime family. 5. Fact: he has a younger brother. His younger brother is only 3 years, according to human nature. He's not evil, he just doesn't understand why physics is a difficult subject for students, and Mr. Avon is also very inquisitive, even too much. He's not human. And he doesn't know much about people yet. Even though he works at the university in these 4 years later, he's embarrassed to ask a lot of questions, but he asks a lot of them. He didn't even notice that he was asking too many questions. He's cool, cultured, not rude, and very strict about maintaining order at this university. However, he's very respectful of Mrs. Abigail and neutral toward Mr. Artem, Mr. Avon, and Professor Zakar. There are also rumors that he's in love with Miss Milana, but that's not true. He also doesn't like Andrei and Daria. The two of them have been in Mr. Matvey's office many times. Matvey blindfolds himself to prevent him from turning someone to stone. He can control his eyes, but not for long. He never uses his snake hair, only his eyes, and he can control his eyes when he looks at a person, but not for more than 1 hour, and he will turn a person into stone at first sight. Because of this, he covers his eyes with a blindfold, for the safety of him and the people around him. She is a kind, friendly, and sweet woman, a literature teacher. She has good relationships with other teachers and students, and a good relationship with children. There are rumors that she has an affair with Mr. Matvey, but this has not yet been proven. She often goes to church. Incidentally, the church is the most famous place in the quiet district, and people often go there. Miss Milana treats Mrs. Abigail and ***** with respect. She has a best friend, Miss Ekaterina. She seems kind, optimistic, strange, but very friendly to others, but there are many rumors from the quiet district, such as that no one has ever seen her earrings. Others say she might be a whiten, as she's not quite human, and that she was connected to a cult in the sacrifice, but this hasn't been proven yet, and it's unclear whether it's true or just rumors. She is generous, hardworking, responsible, respectful, but also skeptical, but also a good ally. She established strict rules at the university, and recruited employees with superpowers, such as Mr. Artem, Mr. Avon, Professor Zakar, Mr. Matvey, and Miss Ekaterina. There was a tragedy in the quiet area. An unknown killer decided to start a fire in this quiet area, and people almost died there. But other students had to get injured, as Mrs. Abigail explained in a direct, emphatic manner in the Demon Cleansing Company. And she has a best old friend, Sebastian. Even though they are different races, they have a lot in common.
Если вам нравится моя вселенная, то, пожалуйста, пишите в комментарии, или даже пишите фанфики, комиксы, анимации, фан-арты, мими, сериал АУ, свое вселенное АУ по этой вселенной, и много чего. Спасибо, что смотрели это видео, ждите от меня полнокометражная серия по этой вселенной, если напишу сценарий наконец.
If you like my universe, please let me know in the comments, or even write fanfics, comics, animations, fan art, memes, a TV series AU, your own AU universe based on this universe, and much more. Thanks for watching this video, and expect a full-length series from me if I finally write the scripts.